go first. Let's go.
The year was 2022. We were in a lead up to International Women's Day. I kept being asked by women how we were going to celebrate, but the reality was we were all still learning to navigate life post-pandemic. With just 1 week to go and International Women's Day approaching, I reached out to these same women and asked them to meet me at the beach. Well, more like a building on the beach. It just sounded way cooler to say the beach. I digress, but you get the point. The crazy thing is they showed up, and I mean they showed up. We had fun, we had laughter, we were courageous, and we even shared in a few tears together. It left me renewed and inspired. Of course, your girl decided to record the conversation. I just love a camera. But also we needed to document the evening, just in case we wanted to share the highlights later. And guess what? We don't have to wait until next Women's Day to share it with you, because at Edgy, every day is Women's Day. We invite you to relive the moments with us. Ladies, you good?
Yeah.
You all look good. Thank you for accepting the invitation to have this conversation. So before I start, I want to just, prayer. Let's just get things together. So God, thank you for assembling these beautiful women here today. We trust this session into your hands. You know every single woman here. You made them wonderfully and beautifully. And God, you say, if we trust you with all our heart, you will direct our path. So direct our path today. May this session really bless the women who will hear it. Amen.
Amen.
All right, y'all ready?
We ready.
Happy International Women's Day in advance.
Same to you.
The question is, how did we get here? Over the last week, we reached out to women at home and abroad to understand what was on their minds, what was keeping them up at night. We sorted their interests and questions. We assembled a diverse set of women, Barbadian women, may I add. I made a plan to show up today, even though I called y'all like 5 days ago. We're here to share real life stories and experiences, personal perspectives, with the goal of helping women to become their best next self. I borrowed that from you, Steph. She taught me it yesterday. She taught me this yesterday. I'm learning. Something tells me, though, that this type of assembly, it won't be the last today. We're going to have lots of stories to tell. And here's why. If the last few years have taught us anything, it's that we are better together. If we didn't fully appreciate it before, we know now that there's tremendous power in community, tremendous power in togetherness, and let's not forget, tremendous power in being a woman.
Yes.
Our conversation today takes us on an adventure called womanhood and community. But in many ways, it will reveal that we all have our individual power, yet there's so much more we can learn from each other. So joining me today in the conversation is Diane Tall-Knight, over to my far right. An extremely accomplished engineer. I took creative license to talk about your bio. She's built bridges in Canada. Now, if I get anything wrong, tell me here.
Gotcha.
She's led teams across the petroleum and energy business in the Caribbean. A woman who leads with excellence across spaces thought to be occupied predominantly by men. Diane leads with excellence in any space, period.
Come on, Diane.
You need to see her in her hard hat and safety boots. And next to her is Carol Toppin. Broadcaster and TV host, founder of She's Phenomenal and 40 and Phenomenal. Did I get it right?
40 plus and phenomenal.
Yes.
A movement to motivate and support ladies in their fine wine season, as well as to mentor younger women. I'm sure you're going to have a lot to share today.
Definitely.
Next to her, we have Stacia Brown, former business journalist, now practicing communication specialist, passionate and resilient at heart, bold, a challenger of the status quo.
Yeah.
always encouraging women to take up space wherever they are. And a fashionista, of course. And then we have Stephanie Catlin, HR practitioner by profession, first class motivator, avid supporter of young entrepreneurs living up to their true potential, passionate about family, love, and the girl is loyal, and she loves food. And next to me is Schwazel Murray. Y'all, and did you hear the pronunciation? Schwazel.
Schwazel?
If you guys know French, it means to choose. So I feel, okay, sorry, let me backtrack. It's from the verb choisir,
That's correct.
which means to choose. So obviously she's the chosen one. She's a leader in the financial industry in Bermuda. You're a VP?
Senior Vice President.
Sorry, Senior VP. I stand corrected, might I add. A proud Barbadian, connector and advocate of self-authenticity. Big on family and community. A woman confident in trusting her voice and charting her own path. Welcome. So, me, right. I'm Gina Cummins, founder of Edgy Women, the space where women find common ground and inspire each other to take on the world.
Yes.
So let's begin.
There. What is there?
I told you we got questions from people, so we had to make it interesting. So, the first question, in one word, describe your experience as a woman. In one word, describe your experience as a woman. We'll just do one word today. So you can, maybe I should let you pass it down.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So grab a paper, just write one word, and we have like 30 seconds to do it, ladies.
Oh, dear.
Do you understand?
Over there. I mean, it could be a phrase. It needs to fit on the paper. I know we're women. That's why the paper is really small.
So, Daddy,
Yeah.
state the word.
Yes, please. Just state your word. Can you please turn it to the camera so the camera... Oh, there it is. It's upside down? Oh, resilient.
Resilient.
Resilient. All right.
I'll go next.
Yes.
Blessed.
Bless.
Yes. I'll go embrace.
Embrace.
I have a sentence. Challenging, but made for me.
I have that thing. Challenging. Definitely.
And I wrote fun.
Wow.
I wrote fun for a lot of reasons, but we'll get into it today because sometimes we women forget to have fun. And we're too hard on ourselves. Even though it's challenging, I decide I'm going to turn it into fun. I'll write about it, sing about it, do whatever I need to do.
About it.
All right, good. So you understand the assignment today? Let's get going. What's the best thing about being a woman, Steph?
So let me just not say the first word. For me, it's and I wrote it, being resilient. I mean, we've been through so much for the last, how many years? Couple of years. And I've lost both my mom and my dad. I've been through divorce. And, I'm operating as a single mother. And so for me, just being resilient is one of those things that really keeps me going. So I think any woman who embraces their resilience can really get through any challenge that comes their way.
Nice.
Very.
Anything to add, Carol, over there?
I think one of the best things about being a woman is just embracing it all. And that comes with time. And at 50 years old.
What? You look good, girl.
Cheers to that. There are so many things that's why I use the word challenging but not problems. When you see life as problematic, there's a wall, there's a ceiling, there's whatever. When you see life as having challenges, there are ways out of it. There are things that you can do. You become resilient.
But the best thing about being a woman is being able to embrace it all.
Yes.
The good, the bad, the highs, the lows, the up, the down, whatever it is. And that is what I love at this season or in this season of my life. Just embracing it.
Mhm. Anything to add?
I'll add to that. The world has taught us that nothing is certain, but one thing is certain, that God is continuous.
That is so true.
And I think as women, if we anchor our lives in Christ, then the anything is possible with Christ. Yeah. So personal experience, I lost my dad. 6 months later, I lost my mother-in-law, and it kind of really rocked my household. But I stood in my faith and I said, God, don't make mistakes. So we got to take this crisis and turn it into opportunity. So this evening, I just want to encourage everybody to anchor yourself in Christ, whether it's your professional life, whether it's your personal life, whatever. Just anchor it in Christ and He'll take you through it, yeah?
And you know, there's nothing like a good crisis to bring you closer to God.
In crisis, you got to remember who Christ is.
Right.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I think it's also really important, as you said, to embrace the challenges, embrace your community, embrace the ones who love you, who you love, and embrace knowing God in new ways.
Yeah.
You know, He manifests in different ways in different seasons. I just lost my dad as well a month ago. And when I look back at the last 15 months of his life, I can see God's hand all over it. Although it's hard,
Yeah.
I can see God's hand all through it. And I thank God I was there.
It's all right, girl. It's all right, girl.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
You're good.
If I can add to that, because I've been there with Stacey through this journey, and all that we've seen is the goodness of God has kept her. It's interesting because I lost my dad. I lost count now of how long it's been, even though it always feels like it was yesterday, and my mom. So, you know, we're here talking about what is life as a woman, but life as a woman has so many ups and downs. But here we are moving through it all with a big God, with a really big God.
Absolutely.
What I like about being a woman, I think it's just the ability to bring a woman's perspective into situations. And so in the corporate world, it's very male dominated. Oh, Lord. And they think very differently than females. And I've learned that, not necessarily the hard way, but I've learned that. So being able to be a voice at the table and bring balance to strategies, bringing balance to problem solving, just bringing a different thought process, I think is just phenomenal. So that's a part of the embracing women that I feel like we should all be empowered to do, and to speak our truth and to speak our voice, because it brings a different perspective, a womanly perspective that we all need. So, yep.
I like that. From everything you ladies talked about, it's that whole soft but strong element, you know? So we know how to show up to the situation. Really powerful. So I pulled the next question for us. We're going through a little too fast, so we can feel free to take your time. We could do this again next week. Here's a question for you. What is keeping you inspired? People want to know what's keeping you inspired. I look around and sometimes there's like a lot of hopelessness around given the pandemic and just people have been losing so much. But people want hope. So my question is, how do you stay inspired? What's keeping you inspired?
That's a really good question.
God is keeping me inspired for sure, and certainly motivating me. But seeing other women showing up every day, despite their challenges, that inspires me to just get up and keep going. I mean, there's so much happening, as you said, and just to see people at, you know, rock bottom still trying to kind of pursue and do what they need to do, that's inspirational to me. And then I also want to be an inspiration to other people. So that inspires me to get up and keep going. and to be that professional or to be that female that people can look up to. You know what I mean? To carve a path, to have a legacy that people can emulate. And so, yeah, that's it.
I share in that with you because for me, what keeps me inspired is actually seeing women become their best selves. Like that gets me out of bed. I am like a kid in a candy store. And yesterday we were talking and you were sharing an experience where you were sharing with your husband. Yes, he can give you compliments and that's nice. But when a woman gives you a compliment, it hits differently.
Yep.
So true. Any other thoughts to add?
I think also, as the Bible goes, the Bible is a hallmark for my life. And it's really interesting how God can repurpose your thoughts. And as the Bible talks about, think of such things, the things that are pure, the things that are good, things that are noble. And that allows me to rethink about what I'm thinking about and how I'm thinking about it. In the midst of challenges and embracing challenges rather than seeing it as a problem. And it allows you to grow and evolve as a woman. And I think women have such amazing abilities to evolve in new ways and embrace new giftings that they didn't see as giftings and new things about their community. So I think it's always really important to check your thinking and where the trajectory is going and catch yourself in that moment where it might not be going, or call a friend and let them help you catch yourself in that moment. You know, I think those things are critical.
I like that, calling a friend, knowing your tribe. And later today, we're going to allow one of you to actually call a friend on one of these questions. So don't worry, the friend is here already. It's easy. So what's keeping you inspired, Diane?
Now I know my rule.
What keeps me inspired, ladies, is the fact that I work in the oil and gas industry, which is predominantly men.
Yeah.
So on any given day when I walk into a boardroom, there's not women that sit in that space that look like me.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
And if we keeping it real today, right?
Yeah.
I got my nappy hair, my hair is strong.
Gorgeous.
And I tell my daughter, you descend from kings and queens.
Right. Come on.
Right? So you don't have to fit into a particular mold to rock. You know what I'm saying? So I tell her, you hold your head up high, and when you walk in that space, own it.
Correct.
Pick it up.
And you have to trust in God, be prepared, ladies. When I say be prepared, if you know you want to finish your degree, you go and you finish your degree. If you want to be financially sound, you go and you learn how to save. Don't spend everything, you save. So that anybody that comes into your life has to compliment you.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah? Correct. So that's what keeps me inspired, because when I go into the boardroom or I go into a space, you know, we talked this year about breaking the bias. So we gotta break the bias, ladies.
Correct.
Own your space that you're in, whether it's banking, whether it's teaching, you own that space and you earn that seat at the table.
Correct.
You know, in the affirmative action, you earn it. Get me? And there is enough room at that table for all of us.
Yes.
I got a little pet peeve, you know, where, you know, one of us is at the table, but we can't carry on because, you know, one of us might outshine each other.
Yeah.
No. There is enough room
For everybody.
at the table for everybody to be at the table. So that's what inspires me.
That's right. We all bring something special, something different. And we're going to touch a little bit on imposter syndrome, because the opposite of what you're talking about is women showing up not believing that they deserve to be where they are.
Correct.
But I want to make sure we covered everybody on that piece. Anything else to add about what's keeping you inspired, Carol?
I think for me, I know. What keeps me inspired has nothing to do with what I do. Service keeps me inspired.
Right.
The word of God tells us that faith without works is dead.
For me, service is vital.
Yeah.
Serving my community, serving other women. I'm a part of a charity that, you know, you got to try not to give a shameless plug to your charity, the Precious Touch Foundation. But service keeps me inspired, and especially those children. I have to say it because those children inspire me. When you're a part of an organization that deals with children with life-threatening illnesses, and you see how the children, not necessarily their parents, I'm a mother, and I tell you, if my child had a life-threatening illness, I'd be shattered, lick up, mash up, all kind of things. But when you have children who, despite whatever they're going through, cancer, heart disease, whatever, they're so, they still have heart, they still have energy, they still embrace every single second of life because they recognize, as young as they are, how precious it is. How could that not inspire me? That inspires me on my worst day to get up and keep going.
Yeah.
And as well as other things that I do for service. If you are on this earth and the only thing you think about is you and yours, it is a wasted life. And I say that without apology.
Yeah.
If we live a life that is not, that service is not involved, it is a wasted life. And I will also add this. If you only serve when you can post it on social media and get the props, oh, look what I've done. That's not service. That is selfish. But service inspires me day after day.
So I'm going to do a plug for Stephanie leading on from what you just said. Stephanie, your session yesterday was very good.
Thank you.
Big Rock Productions CEO. Is it CEO? What, you have a title? Founder and CEO. Okay. So I was at the session yesterday, and one of the gems she shared, which came from another leading lady as well, was that we can't all be famous, but we all can be great.
Yeah.
And greatness is measured by service. And that really stayed with me. And that's exactly what you're talking about, because that's what people remember, though.
Yeah.
That's where the real impact is.
Absolutely.
So I go back now to imposter syndrome. So let's not be fake, ladies, all right? I don't know about you, but there have been times in my life that I walk into a space and I have to remind myself who I am. I don't know if that's happened to any of you, or you get an achievement and you play it down, because some of us have something called perfectionism. So let's talk about that. How comfortable are you truly in your skin in every space?
I think it's work in progress. It's definitely a work in progress.
Journey.
I am 48.
Oh, you look good, girl.
For me, being at this age and the evolution that I have gone through, it wasn't always like this. I was quiet, you know, you go to school and you have to put up your hand to actually be chosen answer. But no,
You
I'm
were
like,
quiet,
no.
sir?
I actually tell people I'm an introvert. This is a learned behavior that I have. Because I needed for my voice to be heard.
Yes.
I wanted to speak up when I had to speak up, and not because I could speak. That's the other thing you have to learn. And I feel as though, you know, as you mature and you experience more, you become very authentic in determining when you need to speak up, when you need to show up, when you need to let the others know, well, I am here and I need to contribute as well. Right? So for me, it really was a progress that I had to go through. Yeah, definitely. I don't know what you ladies think. That's it for me.
Agree.
I would agree completely.
Yeah.
I think evolving and walking into who you are and who God has called you to be is critical. And it doesn't happen just by happenstance, but by owning your own voice, owning who you are, stepping in with noise or quietly, whichever one is required at any particular point in time. And I think being open and being adaptable is critical as well. Being adaptable to circumstances that you didn't think you would be confronted with. Being open to new people coming into your life and new positions and new abilities. I think those are things that we always need to think about and be mindful of. And opportunities come to you when you're more open. When you're open to evolving as some, don't just say this is how I always was, this is how I always am.
Yes.
But willing to just open your
Yes.
heart to become somebody who God may be calling you to be.
Imposter syndrome, boy, I tell you, that was present today. I don't think it has a schedule. It just comes when it comes. Because even coming here, I was like, I cannot. I cannot. Gina knows all these fantastic people and da da da. What could I possibly add? It is crazy when it comes. And even though you know better, it comes, it hits you really hard. I actually thought about saying, I can't make it today. Because
she would have called you.
But I said, nope. And the way I defeat it is you face it.
Yes.
That's your Goliath. Pick up your stone and go, girl.
That's right.
You better get that sling and hit it. And then you walk in here and you see all these women looking fabulous. Like, I told you not to come. I told you not to. And because I get you, I'm an introvert. Even though what I do is very public, I just go and hide away in my house because that's where I'm comfortable. You walk in here and see these fabulous women, and you're like, Lord have mercy. But it's that imposter is something I fight on a regular. It really is something that has challenged me for years. But I'm getting stronger. I'm doing better. You walk in, and you said walk into that room and own the space. I didn't. You saw where I stood, right? That was deliberate, behind. And then she started talking to me, and I was like, not so bad. I'm looking quite fierce.
I agree.
So I am really shocked.
No. But it's something that we deal with. A lot of us deal with. We don't want to show it, and it's okay. It is okay. Just recognize that if you don't step outside of that box and shut that imposter down, you will never meet amazing women like this.
It is true.
You will never create other opportunities. It's true. Yeah.
But what is actually magical is that because Diane reached out to you, it kind of broke down that barrier, right?
Most definitely.
So the power that women have, though. So I go back to my own scenario. There was a time, well, I say I'm an introvert too.
Everybody's an introvert.
Yeah. No, I actually, like Stephanie, I think this was a learned behavior. I said to myself one day, I know what I wanted to be, and I can't do it if I don't go out there, right? But there was this lady, her name is Natasha. I hope that she's at one of these next sessions. And I worked for an organization, very formal-ish. But one day, Natasha walked into the organization and did a cartwheel. And I was like, whoever this woman is, I want to be like her. Like, walk in a room and she just lit the whole room up and she did not care. Now, that's a little crazy. I'm sure in some organizations, they'll be like, scowling at that. But it was a powerful moment for me. And so I challenged myself, anytime I walk into a room, I'm going to be the one to tap into another woman so she feels comfortable. And that's exactly what happened today. Magic happens when women come together.
It's true.
I know you just fierce, so I don't know if
that's not necessarily true. I'm like Stephanie. Like in the early parts of my career, I think I was very shy, and I was afraid of my own voice. And I felt like, how did I get here? Like from Barbados, how did I translate myself into Bermuda and actually rubbing shoulders with the who and the who? And it was overwhelming at times. But I've learned that every new space I'm in, God has put me there for a reason. Yes. And so that's the perspective that I bring into uncomfortable situations. I literally ask God, okay, well, this is an opportunity that you want me to learn from. What is that? So I embrace the opportunity. I embrace whatever is happening. And I show up as being my true, authentic self, because that's how God has made me. And so, that's how I've really just channeled that. So now I feel I'm a little bit confident, but that confidence is from knowing that God is fully behind me.
So what would you say to women who haven't reached that point? Any of you, who might be struggling with that? Do they look themselves in the mirror and say a mantra? What are we doing?
Show up.
Show up.
Simple. You're never going to conquer it if you continue to cower behind the scenes. You're never going to get through it if you continue to allow that imposter to dominate your life. You have to show up no matter how scary it is. And oftentimes, these monsters that we create
Are in our heads.
they're all in our heads. And you roll up into a situation, a seminar, a conference, a party, a church outing, and you leave so much richer for it. And then you have to say to yourself, well, why do I keep doing this to myself?
Yeah.
And you have to show up, keep pushing through it and show up.
Anything to add, Diane?
The advice my mom gave me has always hold true. Go into any situation anchored in Christ. You know, before you step through that door, you know, let me make sure I prepared mentally, spiritually, because sometimes your whole concept can get challenged, and even before you push your door, it's already a no. The decision is already made even before you get into the room. So, honestly, ladies, I stick close to Christ, and I surround myself with women that are spiritually grounded as well. Because sometimes you can get battered and bruised in the world out there, and sometimes you just want to crawl up in the ball and lick your wounds. But it's, you know, one of the panelists said you call a friend. Sometimes you got to reach out to that girlfriend that can always keep it real with you and let you know, it's not as bad as it appears. It's just all up there that got you. So sometimes, ladies, call that friend that is grounded as well. And I use the word grounded because it's important to connect the spiritual, the physical, and the emotional, and make sure it's all bonding further, and it starts from, your head, your mind, because sometimes the mind can get crazy and imagine these crazy things, but then when you get there, it's like, oh. So, surround yourself with people that are grounded. That would be my advice.
So how important then is a tribe? How important? Go for it, Steph.
When I think about tribe, I think a whole lot of people. My tribe like real small, real small, like very small. So for me, it's really about the quality of the person and what they bring to the table. What can they contribute to me, my development? Sometimes you just need the tribe to listen. I don't give you any advice. Because I think I done got it figured out. I just want you to listen to what I am saying. And I think when you understand that you have the right people in your circle that can appreciate, it's not always about giving the advice, but it's just about listening. You can really, really you can really take that next step forward. A tribe is important. I think understanding self is greater though. Because when you're in that tribe, sometimes you can get lost if you're not strong enough to maintain your presence and know who you are.
Right.
So, yeah.
Me, tribe. My tribe is, and it's interesting how my tribe evolved in that God pulled them from different places. They got different experiences. They come from different backgrounds and different outlooks. And because of that, I get a different perspective when I share my issue or my problem or whatever. And they might challenge you. They might challenge me to change my thought process or my outlook on a certain situation. And because of that, I'm grateful for it. And I am not an introvert by nature, unfortunately or fortunately. I'm an extrovert by nature, but because of scenarios or situations, I found myself living on mute. And I couldn't find my way. And I started to doubt who I was. And because of that same tribe, it reinforced who I was. And it showed me, okay, you're not crazy, first of all. And then it's okay to be you.
I'm like, my inner circle, I had truth for a long time. But one thing that, I hate to say age, but yeah, experience has taught me. I am one of those people, because you're in an industry that's constantly changing and evolving, you always have to be open to change. I do not want my true tribe to change. So some of my closest friends, we've been friends since we were teenagers. And then one of my best friends, she could talk to a garbage can and it would answer. So we like, why are you introducing more people to the group? We were fine since we were 16. There were 4 of us. Let's leave it. But experience has taught me, one of the things you also have to do is to open yourself to expanding your tribe. Your troop becomes a tribe. And because of that, I've met some amazing women. Still small, but because I opened my mind, and it's okay. Everything else, will happen. But it's okay to embrace these women. Then you recognize that you grow as an individual. But I'm still very selective about who I spend time with, what I discuss, even within my tribe. I know who I can go and commit murder and they'll help me bury the body without telling. I know who is the person that I can divulge anything and know that it's going to stay that way. Because even within your tribe, you have to know what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are.
Yeah.
There's some people in your tribe that they can't keep a secret. Listen to me. And you just have to know and accept. The same way we want to be accepted, we have to know who the members of our tribe are, what their strengths and what their weaknesses are, and embrace them that way. So we're not disappointed. I think sometimes we want to pile all of our sometimes unrealistic expectations into these individuals. We can't even live up to it. And a part of having a tribe is just accepting these women for who they are and loving them unconditionally the way we want to be loved. That is essential. All right,
Ladies, we're having a good time. We have time for one last question, and we still have a whole box to happen. But what I'm going to do in the interim is invite one of our additional panelists who's going to come and join us right now. But what she's going to do is replace one of the existing ladies. So you need to be prepared to answer this question. I'm not telling you the question, but who are you going to help out today? So it's interesting that Tamara would join me, because Tamara has no fear in being on social media. Not at all.
None.
I've been seeing her reels. She's been having the time of her life. Tamara, should I tell them who you are? Tamara Gibson, experienced business administrator, project manager, and chandler. As a chandler, her goal is to curate and share cultural sense reflective of Barbadian life for generations of people at home and across the world. If you haven't experienced her candles, you need to visit Native Caribbean at Pelican, and that's a plug. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So our final question today, and maybe you can lead us off. Why does my life look like crap and everyone else's life look amazing on social media? I don't know if you're helping her out or I'm not sure. How would you respond to someone with that concern?
The first thing you need to know is social media is very curated, right? Actually, it probably could be one of the fakest places on earth. People have a chance to edit what they want you to see.
Of course.
They have a chance to choose what they want to say to you. And they literally get chances at how they show up. They get to go away, revise it, bring it back, follow a trend, put a pretty song over it. It really is not as authentic as we think it is.
Yeah.
And it is not really. It is there for edutainment, entertainment. And if you're lucky, you get some inspiration from it as well. Persons on social media, I think, have a responsibility to produce good content. And that's the approach I take with my page. I know why I want to be there, and it is to help other people to know their life is not crap. When I show up, I think I have a responsibility, if I'm going to be in front of so many people's faces, to have a good influence. I don't intend to be anybody's role model, but I do want to have an impact on the world. I've known that from the time that I was little. And I've been very clear that I want the world to know that I was here, not for any recognition of myself, but for what I was able to contribute during my time, the time that I was given here. And so it causes me to show up in a way that I'm on purpose is going to be it's going to be impactful, it's going to be intentional, and it definitely is going to leave the space that I'm in a better place. That is my goal. If you can draw something from that, that's good. But you should not compare your life to social media. It is not meant for comparison. Actually, if you know how Instagram was curated, it was meant to give validation. It looks kind of weird to walk around and say, tell me something good about me. Tell me you like how I look. Tell me that you like that I was traveling. Tell you that you like my Tory Burch shoes. Right? It's weird to walk around and say that to people. But social media kind of gives you a platform to put those things up, and you get a like or a comment, and then you find people wanting to be like that, wanting to, but it really is not meant for you to compare your life. Just remember, you draw the inspiration from it, but you be proud of who you are, and you keep showing up as who you are every day, because the world needs you just the way you are.
Nice. I don't even know what else to add to that. Only thing I would say though is for the younger ones out there is to recognize, as you said, it's curated and you buy the likes.
Correct.
There are bots out there. So when you think you're actually getting all the comments on here, it's a bot. And you can actually go and buy likes. So don't think that when you see someone has how many likes or how many followers, that it's really people legitimately liking and following their purchase. Right? So what does that say? What does that say?
So I can't be bothered with it. I'm horrible. I honestly cannot be bothered with it. I should, especially for one of my brands, but I can't, because it serves a purpose, as you said. And once you understand what that purpose is, and it doesn't define who you are, and it doesn't change who you are, and you can use it to inspire others, fine. But I find people get so caught up. And sorry, not sorry. You see this word influencer? I cannot. I cannot. Because it makes me wonder. It kind of shows me that we're living in a very twisted world. We know this. But when you can see some of these people on social media who are influencers and what they're actually posting, and you wonder what is wrong with our world, how could this individual actually be considered an influencer? When I think of influence, I think more positive than anything else. So, as you said, you really want younger people especially to understand this is not the be all and end all. Your life does not revolve around likes or comments.
Correct.
And I think we are responsible for that. We are responsible for what we teach our children, how we teach them, how we validate them, whether we ever validate them or not. And it's this world, this whole thing. If you know this thing with just before COVID, especially, you went to a preschool sports and everybody got a ribbon. That is not how life works.
It's true.
It's not.
That is not how life works. And I think now, because we're raising our children in that particular way, everybody gets a ribbon, everybody gets a like, everybody's a winner, everything's perfect. When they actually step into the real world, then they're left totally confused. I thought this is what it was all about. So social media is a wonderful tool. But if it is not used correctly and people don't have an understanding of what it is, you can lose yourself in it. So, just choose wisely. Think.
Yeah, I actually think the idea of influencer, you can actually change the whole dynamic of social media with
Correct.
being honest, with being truthful,
Correct.
with, sharing honest, but, you're not going to say everything that's going on in your life, but you can be honest. And I shared the other day that my dad died and I put on 20 pounds and it was rough. And that's not something that we women like to be honest about. But it was something that was really real. I had to put myself aside for a moment, and you have to be able to value who you are beyond likes and followers and those types of things, because those people aren't the people who are in your tribe. They aren't the people who you could call at 12 o'clock at night when you were having a meltdown, or you're crying, or you're upset over something. So you have to be really mindful of those things when you're looking at social media and using it as a guide for your life. Is a no-no.
So ladies, I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to just wrap up the last question we were discussing. If I would put it in a summary, use social media for good, be intentional, be honest, and use it to change lives for the better.
I told you, the ladies showed up. They shared their real life experiences, their triumphs, and their scars. We all left that conversation inspired to be more open, to speak up, to serve, to use our voices to bring about positive change, to make room for other women, to reach back and show them the way forward, to be more grounded in who God created each of us to be. We saw the transformation that happens when women show up for each other and together. This impromptu meeting is just the beginning. Keep connected with us. Join the space at any of the links below. Don't forget to tell us what you thought about the conversation. Drop it in the comments, send us a message on our IG, send us one to our email. If you want, you can even send us a letter. Bye for now, and thank you for joining us at Home Together.
My takeaway word is authentic. That's my takeaway word for that event. And honestly, I haven't stopped raving about it. I told everyone had to listen to me go over all of the talking points and everything I learned. So it was absolutely fantastic. Definitely so many highlights and moments to take home.
I felt seen, if that makes any sense. It's good to be in an environment where you have other women looking and supporting and sharing positive messages. It's very interesting for me, at least, when I looked at the event overall. I walked away with that feeling of sisterhood. And even though I just met these women for a short period of time, it was such an impactful period of time because we were all sharing positive notes. We were all celebrating each other. We were all celebrating womanhood, and we were all reflecting on how we can inspire and motivate other women within the community.
One of the things I walked away with from that night was to always be yourself. Never be afraid to show up and show as you.